Hi, my name is Divyam. Welcome to your Clapingo session.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. And
hmm
I'm so thrilled, I would say, today.
Nice,
So
lovely
thank
to
you so
hear.
much.
Are you excited for the session?
Yes, of course.
Awesome. So, Chandan, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, Chandan, what would you like to talk about today?
Today, we will discuss about how to be disciplined in our day-to-day life.
Are you talking about discipline as a personality or discipline in learning English?
Uh, in learning English.
Okay. So, why don't you tell me what you are doing right now to improve your English?
Okay. Actually, I read random books, and as well as I'm watching some English content, like English speech. Sometimes I talk to co-learner, and by putting the random topics, and sometimes I learn vocabulary. This is very imperative. So these are the things I'm doing to improve my English and helping others.
Okay. So, how do you learn vocabulary?
I learn by watching content, English as speech. Sometimes I learn through reading books.
Okay. So, when you watch this content, do you write down these words? Do you Google the meanings? What are you doing to register it in your mind?
Okay, whenever I have seen any vocabulary on any books or even any content, so in that situation I have to pick only few vocabulary, two, even three, and I just picked out, and at the same time I have to create some couple of statement included that vocabulary so I can register in my mind.
Okay, that's nice. And do you think that's helping?
Of course.
Heavily.
But I just want to say the one thing, sir, like going through even broken statement or anything, I think temporary it's very important for the learners, really.
Definitely.
Because if you're going to correct yourself at every situation, it's not going to be happen according to you, right? So somewhere it's very imperative, right, for the co-learner. Otherwise, you are going to doubting on yourself every time whether I'm going to go the right way or wrong way, right?
Right.
So temporary, you have to live your own comfort so that you can sustain your confidence level, right? And after spending a minimum time in your journey, you're going to realize, yeah, now times comes out, I have to focus which part is weeks of me, right?
hmm Right.
So
So why don't you walk me through your daily schedule? What do you think? Okay, just tell me your schedule for the day.
hmm okay, so I wake up 6 o'clock in the morning. After that, I have done my usual task. After reaching 9 p.m., I go to the school. So I go to the school because I'm a primary teacher. So I stay there for couple of hours. After reaching 2 o'clock, I come back to my home, and after remaining times, I used to connect with people with co-learners for English purpose. After reaching 4 o'clock, I go to teaching my student as a home tuition. You can say,
What
yeah, this
time
is
is
my
that?
daily routine. Four to five.
Okay, so 4 o'clock, around 4 or 5, you start your tuitions.
Yes,
Okay, and how many students do you have in your tuition?
not much. I think for five students I have.
Okay, so that's not many. Okay. Um, so do you want me to explain discipline in your schedule or like in general schedule in terms of the people who are
Uh,
watching?
sure, sir. I think you should explain me. in general, because it would be convenient for many person as well, right?
Definitely, definitely. I'll use your schedule as an example. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's say, I mean, your mornings are pretty packed. I don't think there is a lot of space to um, move things around, right? Because you wake up early, you finish your tasks. Obviously, you have to take care of your body in terms of hygiene and in terms of nutrition, with breakfast and everything, right? So once you go to school, it's 9, then you're done with school at 2 o'clock, then you get home. From 2 to 4, I'm assuming you do like some sort of tasks or chores at home. And
Mm-hmm. Yes.
does that include like a nap or something?
Yeah, yeah. Of course, I took a nap as well in afternoon time.
Okay. So you also take a nap. I'm assuming from 4 o'clock, your tuitions are going to be 2 hours, or is it more?
No, 2 hours.
Right. So 4 to 5. Let's assume 5. So then 5 to 7, you're busy with your tuitions. What happens
Yes.
after 7 o'clock, 7 p.m.?
After 7 o'clock, I come back to my home and then I do audio conversation
Audio
for my
conversation.
English
Okay.
practice sessions. I would say, yeah.
So is this with other students? Is it with other teachers? Or what is it?
No, I think I'm talking with the co-learners because I'm using a application
Okay,
as
you're using a
fluency,
third-party application. Okay.
third-party applications. Yeah.
Okay. So this is for your personal growth. After seven
Mm.
o'clock, you put in
Yes,
this
yes.
time for personal growth. Okay. So do you take a break after your tuition and before you start your audio learning?
Yeah, I think after spending a couple of time to maintain my audio chat, I get I get my me time. I would say for watching some web series, English web series. I would say it maintains
Hmm.
my regularity. I would say like it would be refreshing my previous memories. I mean, data is what I collected through anyways, right?
Like a revision, basically.
Yeah, revision. Yeah, I would say yeah.
Okay, good. So I think according to your timeline, everything seems fine because if you implement a certain time period for certain tasks, I think the discipline factor takes care of itself. I'll give you an example. Okay. Let's take a normal person who's going to work at 9 o'clock in the morning and then coming back home at 5, like a 9 to 5, right? Now, once they come back home at 5, I mean, they will not reach home at 5, they'll leave office at 5. So I'm assuming they'll get home by 6. Okay. Usually they either take like a chai break, they sit with their family, they take a nap, whatever it can, whatever they choose to do. So I generally tell my learners that if you're following a strict 9 to 5, don't mess with anything in the morning, okay? Because you don't want to affect your sleep cycle. Your health is important. And secondly, what you can do is half an hour before bed, you can either read a book or watch an episode of a show, or when you're traveling to and from work, you can listen to music, you can listen to audiobooks, you can listen to podcasts on YouTube, right? So my advice is generally to have half an hour, 1 hour every day, just dedicated to a certain skill. Okay. Now, when people listen to things like audiobooks or music, you're practicing your listening skills. You're on mute.
Yes, yes, yes.
You want me to repeat that?
Yeah, yeah. No, I was listening. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So when they're listening to something, they're only practicing their listening skills, right? There's a big misunderstanding that people say, I want to improve my English. Okay, but there are certain skills that we're already good at. Okay. Let's assume somebody who's been watching movies for the last 10 years, English movies. They can understand accents, they can listen, they can understand what the context of the sentence is very easily, right? But
Mhm.
they've never practiced speaking. So they don't have to practice their English, they have to practice their speaking skills. That is what we're trying to achieve, right? Because we can
Yes.
understand, we can think, we know what to say, we just don't know how to say it, right?
Mm,
So when
yes.
people say, when I ask them, what do you do for English, to improve your English? They'll generally say, I watch movies, I read books, I talk to my friends in English, right? But they don't know what skill they're targeting. Okay. So
Yes.
first you have to understand what skill you are lacking in, whether it's a confidence in speaking, pronunciation, grammar in speaking, or maybe it's just the listening part. Maybe you have too much energy and you interrupt people a lot. You can't focus on what people are saying if the sentences are long, or it confuses you, right? Or maybe it's the fact that you can speak in basic English, you can understand basic English, but your vocabulary is weak, right? So depending on
Yes.
your skill, or depending on what um, sort of exercise you need to do to improve your English, you have to set targets in your daily life that, okay, 20 minutes I'm going to target reading so I can improve my vocabulary. 20 minutes or 25 minutes I'm going to watch an episode of XYZ show so that I can understand how social interactions work, how I can make new friends, how I can use the vocabulary used by native speakers to improve my presentation or improve my communication or expression of what I want to say, right? So
Yes.
these are points that are really important because a lot of people, let's say, I'll go back to the example of the person who watched movies for 10 years, right? They continue to watch movies because that's what feels comfortable for them. But you are basically just improving a skill that you're already decent at, right? Whereas focus on speaking skills, focus on presentation skills. If you improve that skill as well, then you have a balanced skill set of listening skills, vocabulary, and speaking skills and presentation skills, right? So then you have the creativity and you can communicate what you're trying to say to people, whether it's your boss, whether it's your family members, whatever it is. So pick what problem you want to fix, dedicate, let's say, 10, 20, 30 minutes per day for that skill. Again again the timing
Mhm.
depends on how quickly you want to learn. If there is a deadline, sometimes people want to improve their speaking skills for an interview or for a new job, so they only have 3 or 6 months timeline, right? So in that case, I recommend them to basically add more hours or add more minutes to that exercise so that they can sort of fast track it a little bit, right? Now, with
Yes.
discipline, one thing is really important. People, when you set a deadline for yourself, in 3 months, I want to improve my speaking skills. Again, this is an example, right? If you dedicate 30 minutes, make sure you're doing 30 minutes every day. Don't, like, let's say one day you're feeling lazy or you're feeling sleepy and you're done with 20 minutes and you're like, okay, I'll do the extra 10 minutes tomorrow. Then again, you start doing 15 minutes. Then again, you'll do 10 minutes, right? So don't reduce your time like that. Now, willpower is something that comes into play because when you start a task, you're so motivated. You're like, yes, I'm going to do it. In 3 months, I'm going to master this task, right? But 1 month down the line, you're feeling, oh my God, this is so tiring. This is so annoying. I can't see improvements. I'm wasting 30 minutes every evening. I can go down, I can meet my friends, I can get extra 30 minutes of sleep. That's why I always recommend people to have um, achievable targets, something that is easy to do, but you keep doing it for that extended period of time. On the first day, you might feel like in 2 hours, I'm going to finish reading this book, right? Which is good.
Yes.
You might do it for an hour, you might read it for an hour and a half. But a month down the line, you're not going to spend 2 hours reading a different book. You're going to say, okay, I'm just going to read 10 pages. I'm going to read 20 pages, or I'm going to finish these 3 chapters, right? So
Yes.
that is how motivation also depletes as you keep moving through your journey. So make sure you set only little, like, consider motivation or willpower as a fuel, right? So when you're driving a car or when you're riding a bike, you want to go as fast as possible, but you don't want to finish your fuel because you don't want to fall short of your destination, right? So
Yes.
maintain that 10, 15 minute regular practice. That is what discipline is. And make sure that you use a fuel enough that you get to your goal. You don't fall short. Your car doesn't shut down before you reach your goal, basically, right?
Mhm. Yes, you're right, sir.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, yeah, of course. It was relevant. I mean, answers related to my questions, I would say. That's
Right,
great.
thanks. Lovely. So, Chandan, how many sessions have you taken on Clapingo?
I think few sessions I have taken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay. And have you been able to sort of find the answers that you were looking for, change your techniques of learning?
yeah, of course. I got many of things very relevant and resonated related to my spoken English issues, I would say. And yeah, it was quite convenient for the beginner to catch up, the certain answers what he was expecting. Yeah, I've been expecting for long. So yeah, that was quite helpful. Yeah, at the same time, we can't use
Yeah,
very
yeah,
and
exactly.
unexhausting.
Exactly. So there are certain words you're using. They're good words. They're using it in a correct sentence, in a correct content, in a correct context. Okay. But
Mm-hmm.
make sure you're not overdosing it, right? Like it's like when you make Maggie, you put that one packet of masala, right? But what
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to do is you're trying to make the flavor so good, but you're adding more masala. More masala is not more flavor. More masala can be more spices, more burning, So it might have a negative effect of what you're trying to do. So make sure
Mm-hmm.
it feels natural when you're using these vocabulary words. Also, I want you to brush up on your past tense. I've noticed a lot of times when you're narrating a story, right? When I asked you about your schedule, you said, yes, I took a nap. Now, when you say I took a nap, it means you're talking about one incident. Yes, yesterday I took a nap, right? When I'm asking you about something that is recurring or it happens or it's a habit, it keeps happening every day, right? Then you have to use continuous tense. You have to say, yes, I usually take naps around 3 o'clock in the evening, in the afternoon. Okay. So
Yeah.
again, what I want you to do is that whole paragraph about your schedule that I asked you. uh, I want you to look at the recording. I want you to correct yourself, right? If you want to
Of
write
course.
it, if you want to just write down the corrections, whatever you want, I want you to find all the mistakes that you made, whether it's past tense, incorrect words, broken sentences, okay? And then I
Mm-hmm.
want you to make a video for yourself. You're not going to post it anywhere. You're not going to show it to any tutors, don't, not even me, okay? But I want you to perfect that whole answer. What is your schedule? Okay. So you're going to say, I usually wake up around 6. I get done with my chores. I feed myself and I get ready. And then I leave to report to school at 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. Right. So I don't want to give you the whole answer. So I'm not going to continue. But you get what I'm trying to
Okay.
say. Right. We're trying to
Okay.
perfect that answer in grammar, in confidence, in sentence structure, everything.
Mm. Okay. I get it, sir. Really. But I just want to say the one thing, sir. Like going through even broken statement or anything, I think temporary it's very important for the learners, really.
Definitely.
Because if you're going to correct yourself at every situation, it's not going to be happen according to you, right? So somewhere it's very imperative, right, for the co-learner. Otherwise, you are going to doubting on yourself every time whether I'm going to go the right way or wrong way, right?
Right.
So temporary, you have to live your own comfort so that you can sustain your confidence level, right? And after spending a minimum time in your journey, you're going to realize, yeah, now times comes out. I have to focus which part is weeks of me, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I know that like I'm making a lot of mistakes while giving my answers, but what I personally think like it's very important that is the certain things I'm going to learn something, right?
Definitely.
It's realizing me my mistakes has been realizing me like you're going to learn something specific from your journey, and while interacting with multiple personalities, you are going to learn something unique by them. Just
Right.
before I learned out from you, sir, my mistakes. So I'm really glad to have it.
Okay, I'm glad you take it that way because sometimes a lot of people
Yes.
feel like I'm demotivating them. That is not the case. All I'm trying to do
No, no,
is
no, no.
point out some things that can be improved so that you can learn quicker, right?
Yes.
If you understand what the issue is and you start targeting that issue, then your journey becomes much easier, much quicker because a third person's analysis or their feedback that you're receiving can be something that maybe you haven't thought of. It happens with me as well. Sometimes when I come up with some ideas, I tell my friends, this is what I'm thinking of doing. And they very clearly tell me that this is what's wrong with the idea. Maybe this is where you'll get stuck. Right. And these are things that I didn't cross my mind. So I take that in a nice way. And I'm glad that you have taken this positively as well. Right.
Yeah. So whenever, whenever I connect to any tutor or any person, so I do not say like whether if I will make mistakes, so you please indicate me. Somewhere we are going to, we are going to being confused and starting doubting on self, whatever you have accumulated, whatever confidence level for your entire journey, all will be goes, right?
Yeah.
In a
It'll all be washed away.
right, it's better to just leave your own comfort zone and try to just releasing your opinions over any matters. This will maintain your like your what I say
Confidence and
fluency,
motivation.
confidence, yeah, motivation, and somewhere it's very consecutive for the people, I would say, right? So I mean to say that like as much as you can immerse yourself into deeper into any concept, it would be the it would be the I mean appearing more clear, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
So yeah, so that's the reason I do not care much about my mistakes, and I believe to just express my opinion on any matters. So it would be
Definitely.
exciting for me and for others as well.
Definitely. See, I'm not saying you have to change something. I'm not saying you have to talk less or something. I'm just saying these are some target areas. See how you can improve on them because you have the knowledge. I can see that. Right? I noticed that you're saying the correct thing, but then sometimes the incorrect thing. So you know what the correct thing is, but maybe when you're speaking really quickly, maybe you're excited about a topic, so maybe you forget certain rules. So that's completely fine. That's why we do the analysis of the session by looking at the recording. Recordings are really important for this reason, right? It's
Yes.
like watching a game after you finished it. You want to see what you could have done better to give the team a better chance, whether it's cricket, football, whatever it is. That's what the biggest professionals do. They look at their own game and see how they can improve. That's what we are trying to do. We're trying to record these sessions so you can look at your own performance, see what feels unnatural, see what mistakes you made, and then improve on it. Okay?
Of course, you're right. Being a
I'm glad you
tutor,
have a
it's your
positive attitude about
responsibility.
this.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I'm really satisfied, because being a teacher, I mean, being a tutor, it's your responsibility to highlighting the mistake of others, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really gladly to receive such a compliment or feedback, whatever you have given about my speaking. Because somewhere it's very obligatory for me to have it, right? Because I have been working for a long time in my communication skill, right? Over my communication skill. And I know, like, I have been through not by learning grammar or etc. I just randomly started speaking only. I
That's
just
good.
applied the way usually the children, applied in their initial time in order to learn
Yeah.
the native language, right?
Trial and error, basically.
Yeah, so the same patterns I applied because I know it's not a piece of cake for me to acquiring more knowledge about grammar and becoming
Mm-hmm.
correct every time, right? So it's better
Yeah.
just jump out, and just develop your confidence level and try to express yourself as much as you can, right? So
That's lovely.
that's the reason I ever sustain my confidence level, and whatever I consider to apply in my statement, I always willing to do this.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm happy that you have such a positive attitude and that you are so focused on your own growth. Uh, I would say thank you, but I think we've run out of time. I have to end the session. It was lovely
Oh
seeing
my
you.
God.
Yeah, it was really quick, I know. But thank you so much for all your time. Hopefully, we'll meet again and we can discuss how you have targeted these problems that we spoke about.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. I also
No
enjoyed this
problem.
conversation. Let's see. Next time we again match.
Yes, definitely. Next time you can call me Divyam. Please don't call me sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. No problem. Thank you so much. And I'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.